Sweet Nitty Bong, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things Transformers and Transformers action figure related. And today in the booth we've got the Takara mail order exclusive Transformers Generation Select Super Megatron. So before we get into the actual review, you may actually be thinking, who is Super Megatron? What is a Super Megatron? So Super Megatron comes actually right at the end of the G1 continuity in Japan only. The stories were continued in the manga, and basically he comes back after Galvatron's been locked away during Headmasters. He's kind of rebuilt into Super Megatron, so he comes back as Super Megatron, and is a pretty powerful being. And then afterwards he loses his first battle with Star Convoy after Star Convoy is remade, and then he is also turns into Ultra Megatron straight after that, and that actually ends the G1 continuity in Japan, so we never really got to see too much of this dude over here, but he looks pretty cool. And with this you can actually create Super and Ultra Megatron as well. More recently, this dude has actually featured on the front cover of the newly translated manga volume 3. So his story could actually be in there if you are interested in learning more. Pre-warning though, I have the volume 1 of the manga and you can see the review just here. It should be popping up. But just because he's on the front cover doesn't mean he's on the pages inside, as unfortunately some of the characters featured on the front cover of the volume 1 of the manga are not actually featured inside. As we always do on this channel, before we have a look at the main event, let's have a look at the packaging. And actually I was sent 2 boxes for this one, so it's a bit of a box inside of a box. So this is the shipping carton for it that came to me, which is nice. So it's got the Transformers Generation Select, it's got the EAM barcode on the outside, the Generation Select, some Japanese writing and some more Japanese writing there. On the side we get the Transformers Generation Selects, and on the back we get Transformers Generation Selects. Same on the top and same on the side. So for those of you who wanted to know what the shipping carton looked like, this is the shipping carton. But then the bad boy actually opens up. And once we open it up we get this. Now usually with the Generation Select, obviously we just get the kind of brown cardboard box, which we do have on the inside here, but this has a really awesome nice looking sleeve with a kind of CAD drawing of Super Megatron himself. Transformers, Takara Tomy, some Japanese stuff in 8, I guess that says ages 8 and up. Then we get the Generation Select Super Megatron. On the bottom we get Generation Select Super Megatron Takara Tomy. On the back we get the massive blown out Takara Decepticon symbol. On the bottom we get more Japanese writing. I'm guessing this is "Don't eat your children" in Japanese. And then at the bottom again will be more warnings, but this time again in Japanese. So all in all, a very nice outer sleeve. And if we remove the outer sleeve, we get again an oversized Decepticon logo here. Transformers Generation Select, this nice kind of artwork around it, Takara Tomy. And then on the side, Transformers Takara Tomy, Transformers Generation Select Takara Tomy, Transformers Generation Select, oh, blank! Ah, caught me out. Alright, I thought it was going to go for another one then. And then on the back, we get nothing. Blank cardboard on the back. These boxes open up slightly different to the others. They open up kind of like a pizza. So we open it up, and then underneath we have Transformers Takara Tomy, and then we have this beautiful kind of cross-hatched work on the back, very nice. Upside down logo of Transformers Generation Select, and then on the inside we get the Decepticon logo on the pack that it came in. So really nice kind of pizza box that we get with it there, which is pretty cool. Flip it up, and then also we get the Destructions with this dude, but the Destructions are all in, as you would expect, Japanese, because this is the Takara exclusive. So you get the steps and you can see the steps, but you can't, if you're from the UK or the US and you don't speak Japanese or read Japanese, then you can't really understand any of the writing. But the steps are okay. The transformation is fairly simplistic on this one and easy to follow. So yeah, not too bad. Now let's move on to the main event himself, Super Megatron. So this is Super Megatron in his jet mode, spaceship jet mode, I guess. You will see as we go through this that this is based off what I guess now is old tech. This is actually based off the Titans Return Galvatron, so if you are familiar with that figure, you will definitely see pieces that stand out as, oh, I recognise that, especially with the legs when he's in robot mode. And you'll also see that he has some fairly large hollow points, and the transformation is fairly simple. I think that this mode is passable. It's okay, it's nice. Not being too familiar with the manga itself, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but it's a nice enough kind of jet mode here. I like the fact that you get the wings that stick out, the top bit here where the kind of missile launchers are as well look pretty beastie. I like the fact that the front looks a little bit like a gun, so obviously it would just shoot out a big laser here as well. So all in all, it's not a bad looking jet. Quite a lot of nice molded detail, nice little cockpit type affair here. All in all, this is not a bad jet mode. It's certainly not my favorite of the three modes, but it's not too bad and holds together fairly well. I would say that the other modes on this, certainly the tank mode, is when it comes to holding together, but all in all, this is not a bad jet mode as jet modes go. He holds all his accessories here, so there's no, in every single mode he holds all of his accessories, so there's no add-ons that you need to deliver here. So yeah, you can see it's quite a nice molded detailing. Nice little jet mode there. Definitely not how I would display him. Now for a quick comparison, first of all, let's bring out Siege Screamer, as he's also a bit of a space jet, and we can see there kind of the difference really straight off the bat. They do have similar nose cones actually with the way that they are shaped, but I think that the Screamer looks miles better than the way that this one is, and just holds together a lot better. And also you can have a look at something else that is Voyager class. So this is Voyager class Snapdragon, who's also a bit of a crazy looking space jet. And again, yeah, I have to say I have to go with Snapdragon on this one, the way the space jets work. Yeah, so very okay space jet, mediocre. I'm kind of agnostic on it, I guess. Now that we've taken a look at the spaceship jet mode, let's now take a look at the tank mode itself. So here's a triple change. So the first thing you're going to do is kind of bend this back and then remove this by just unpegging it. It just unpegs from that. We'll come back to this in a second because we will use this again. At this point, then you can separate the legs and also kind of pull these up here and up here. Fold these two pieces out and out, and then rotate the hips. So as you rotate the hips, think that will then send the tracks for the tank to the bottom, and at this point you can connect the top of the kind of legs here to these points on the arms. So you can just fold this down and then they just connect in like that. So there's a little tab here that just connects in like that, and then the same on the other side, where you can just tab it in like that. It's not the best way of holding this together. I definitely would have preferred it to hold together a little differently, but you know, it works. But yeah, it's just the tabs are just very small on both sides. Yeah. So there's the shell of the tank, if you like, and at this point then you can fold both of the wings in and in so that they form this, and then we have the kind of platform here for the tank. Like I said, we would come back to this section, so let's just move the bottom piece around, and then you can open it up like that, open up this piece and kind of pop this up, and then fold this piece out, pop it down, and then once it's all down, these two bits just clip in either side. Sorry, I've got this the wrong way around. Make sure it's like that with all the molded detailing at the top, and then snap that back together, and then this peg here just pegs into the top of the thing there. Fold these bits back last of all, and there we have the Mega tank. So this is Megatron in his Cybertronian tank mode here, which is, it's okay. It looks great from certain angles, but there's a lot of kind of non-painted hollow points here at the side as the legs just kind of form the front here of the tank, which is just kind of a bit weird. The back here, it's okay, it's nice. There seems to be a lot more detail in here than there is actually on the front of the tank. It does do a 360 here, which is pretty cool, like tanks should, and you can aim up and you can aim down as well, which is pretty nice. And then at the sides, obviously you get some separate articulation here on the gun turret itself, so not too bad as tanks go. Challenge with this tank though, no wheels, so you are not getting any wheels here at all with this. So he is just a slidey tank rather than a tank that has any kind of wheels helping him at all, which is a shame that they didn't put any wheels on this. You know, it's not a cheap figure by any stretch of the imagination, because it's an import from Japan. But yeah, I think it really does start to maybe show the difference between the Titan's Return molds and the what we get now with the Siege molds. Now with this, I guess you get some added points that you can kind of make it your own. You can have these pointed out like so if you want. You can even have these pointed forward, so maybe these are kind of extra lasers that are on the front, or you can even go the full hog and switch the turret back by opening this up again. There we go. You can, this is actually removable, because in the bot mode it does 2 jobs, and then you can then just stick this back on with this bigger larger turret on it if you really want. And then after you put the bigger, larger turret on, of course, that then frees you up to have this extra turret here at the top. So you can have it's kind of sticking off to the back, or even, you know, a little bit more to the front, like this. Or might be able to do a little bit more with it if we stick this here, and then and so you can have that there off to the front or off to the side as kind of a side mortar launcher or a rocket launcher or whatever. You can have that like that, so there is some kind of playability there as well. Quick comparison now with some of the other tanks that I have within my collection, and let's start with the Impactor. And again, you can start to see the kind of difference between these two guys. I love this tank. I think it's a very nice deluxe size tank. Lots more molded detailing on this dude, whereas this dude is a lot smoother with less paint. But Megatron, I guess, is usually less painted anyway. He's the classic Megatron colours still. But let's compare him to the Siege tank that we get with Megatron from Siege, and here we can start to see the difference between the two Megses. And Megatron from the Siege collection is about the same size. This one, obviously, this is a lot taller and a lot darker grey. This is a lot more of a lighter grey. Stylistically, I think I do prefer this tank. I do always say I think they went a bit safe with this tank, but I think that I prefer the top half to the bottom half of this tank. I want this piece on here because this just looks like it holds together a little bit better, but hey ho, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. But yeah, all in all, that's how they look together. Transformation time again. So first thing we're going to do is remove the turret, and we'll come back to the turret in a second. Then you're going to flip the whole bad boy over, and let's start by working on the legs. You unpeg this section here and you unpeg this section here. Then fold the legs out and twist the legs so that you have him here, and then the feet can just flip out, and then the wheels or tracks can just go into the back of the legs. You start to see the real Galvatron. If I was transforming that now, you'd say, hey, it's Galvatron. It's real Galvatron looking legs there. Fold the arms out, and then fold the hands out as well while we're here. These come out with a real snap, by the way, so yeah, you can just get them out. Fold this piece down, and then fold his shoulders up and around, shoulders up and around. On the back, we can leave this as it is for now, which is fan-dabby-dozy. On the front, we're going to flip the chest piece around and flip out Megatron's head. Megatron now fully transformed into his robot mode. We'll just finish off with his super badass fusion cannon by moving these bits out, folding this back up first actually, and then fold the cannon in, fold these pieces down, and there's his badass fusion cannon all transformed. And all we need to do then is just attach this into the socket right here, and then we have our fully transformed Super Megatron. So now we have him fully transformed in his fully transformed Super Megatron mode, and this is definitely my favorite mode. With this mode, even you get quite a lot of posability. You also get a lot of different features that you can use, and even this mode has, yep, 2 modes, so we'll get to its second mode in a second. But this is a very nice figure. This is definitely, like I say, my favorite mode. Is it perfect? Nope. I still don't believe that this is perfect, but very, very nice all the same. Let's have a close-up at this dude. This is a very, very nice head sculpt. A little bit elongated for a Megatron. Very, very interesting. Definitely close to the manga version, which is great. It's exactly what you want from this. So if you'll look online and see what the manga version looks like, this is very, very close. Quite an elongated version. He has this symbol on the top here. I'm not entirely sure what the symbol is here. It's definitely not a Decepticon logo or something I'm aware of. If you know what it is, please let me know down in the comments, because that will really help me out. I like learning from you guys as much as anything else. As we go down, we also get lots of really nice molded detailing on the chest, the arms. These shoulder cannons are really, really nice. And then also very nice, we get some red paint here on the kind of lower abdomen level. All the bottom is not too painted, but we do get a lot of molded detailing, and this is where it starts to share everything with their classic Galvatron legs there. But I think it is a really nice touch because it's Megatron to Galvatron to Super Megatron. It's really nice. Huge empty holes here in the arms, which really shows that it's from an older generation, I guess. And then this big, massive fusion cannon that's nice, but when it comes to articulation, I'll show you where I have my issues with that. Around the back for a Megatron figure, especially a tank style Megatron figure, is smooth as all hell. Dude doesn't have a backpack at all, so well done to Hashtag there, especially Takara, I guess, for making this probably one of the smoothest Megatrons in a while without any kind of bad backpack. So articulation wise, with this dude, you're gonna get a nice, really nice head articulation. Actually, it's a full 360 once you kind of get it past the other bits. But he's on a ball joint, but he gets really, really, really nice. You can see that there's a lot of tilt and a lot of playability in that. You get some articulation on these pieces, so you can actually have these however you want. I actually quite like them like this, really. The shoulder pieces are nice like that, but I'm not sure if I quite like them sticking out too much from my Megatron. And of course they do get in the way of the articulation, so you get the arm articulation that comes out. You can move these back as well to get a little bit more out of that arm, but this kind of gets in the way a little bit. You could get a full 360 on this, but again, this is going to get in the way for you. But you do, at the kind of bottom of the arm, you'll get a full 360 here. At the elbow, you get a double at the elbow due to the transformation, and then hand articulation will articulate in. There's no swivel on that hand. You do get a full 360 at the waist, but in this mode it can be a little bit of a challenge because of the backpack, and these kind of side skirts here will pop off as they kind of go round. Leg articulation is nice articulation to the back. Front, sorry, the back is a challenge because of the slightly, even though he doesn't have a backpack, it's quite long. He gets some really nice knee bend though, and you can also kind of get a little bit more out of it if needed due to the transformation. And then toe articulation is pretty nice. You get some nice swivel left and right. You don't get an ab crunch, and articulation here. This is weird, right? I mean, usually on a Megatron, I think I am right. His fusion cannon usually connects in on this one. On this figure, his fusion cannon connects in here, so the arm kind of moves independently, and then you have to move the fusion cannon with it. I'm not a fan of this, especially for posability. I don't kind of like it, and also posability with this fusion cannon alone, because of all of this, is yeah, it's not great. You can't get much out of it because there's so much going on here. You kind of have to move it out to get that classic Megatron with his fusion cannon, and I can't move that back, so the fusion cannon is almost too big for the bloody figure. But I hear you cry. Didn't you say there was another version of this figure? Yes, I did. So, the version you can then do to change him from Super Megatron, which is this is Super, he's Super, and then we move to Ultra Megatron. So to make him into Ultra Megatron, we take away the fusion cannon, we flip around the chest plate here to bring it a kind of slightly bulkier, nicer looking chest plate. I really like this one. On the cannon, you simply open up the cannon, open up this section here. I always forget you have to clamp everything down before opening this. Then you can take this out, pull this section out and take this off. This then will fold down and clips into the shoulder here. Come on. And then with the head, yeah, you bring it out and slide it kind of round like so, and then you can bring it forward. When it clips back in, you can bring it forward, and we get a brand new head sculpt here for Ultra Megatron. And with Ultra Megatron, Ultra Megatron gets this shield affair. The fusion cannon kind of turns into the shield here, and then clips onto the side as it did before. Other thing with Ultra Megatron that you are supposed to do is also fold out the back here and bring this piece out, and then fold this piece and bring this piece out to give him this kind of blown out look, as if he can fly away, I guess. So this is Ultra Megatron now, and yeah, let's have a quick look at this dude in this form. This, I guess, is his final form. The final form that he took in G1. And if we look at the head sculpt here, it's a very different head sculpt to the normal Megatron one, and I think this is because he combined with another being to make this after losing his first battle, but don't quote me on that. Hopefully it will tell us all in the newly released manga. Nice head sculpt, very different to any kind of Megatron that I've seen before. This is probably the faceplate that I'll kind of display him in, and also probably the mode that I'll display him in. I really like this, but I'll probably take away these wings. I'm not a fan of these wings sticking out like this. One thing I will say about this figure that I do like is you do get options. If I want to stick these back and have him looking a little bit different, there is a lot of different variants that you could create with this figure, which is very nice. So well done to Takara there. I don't necessarily also like this shield at this point. You could also give him the fusion cannon back, because this does just clip round, so you can actually give him his fusion cannon back at this point if you really want to, which is pretty cool. But yeah, obviously once you get these wings out like this, the articulation is hurt even more in this mode. So yeah, that's another challenge. But overall, this is probably my my favorite way of displaying it. And you also get obviously some articulation here from the guns that we've now put on his shoulder. What's pretty good in this figure is, because he is still part of the Hasbro Takara Transformers lines, he does have the ports all over him, so you could even use some of your siege weaponizers on this guy if you want. So you can give him kind of the Ironworks hook here. You can say, I don't like this fusion cannon, I don't like it. So you can take that one away, and you can give him Megatron's fusion cannon from Siege. What is a bit of a challenge here though is that he has two different ports. So he has one port on the correct side, which is an outie, and he has an innie on the other side. So if you want to give him the fusion cannon on this side, you have to first of all push this back, and then you can give him Megatron's fusion cannon from Siege, which doesn't actually look too bad on him, even though it is actually on the wrong channel, on the wrong arm. So you can weaponize him up and you can do whatever you want with him from that point of view. As we were talking about Siege and Siege type weapons, let's do a quick comparison now with Megs from Siege, who is also a Voyager class. And we can see that he is a taller bot than Megs, only just. So he's like a head or so taller than Megatron, so he is a larger figure. Obviously he has more height because of the gun turrets and things like that. Very different colour. This is the 35th anniversary version of Megatron, but they do still look quite nice together. They could, I guess, have evolved from this to this. This one's highly more stylized. So all in all, yeah, they do look quite nice together, and I think even though he's from Titans Returns, he still kind of fits in with the Cybertronian Siege line. So all that's left now is my final recommendation, and this guy is not cheap. He is kind of about double what a normal Voyager is, certainly in the UK. He is available in most outlets. I really like this bot mode. I have to say the other two modes do suffer slightly. The bot mode is definitely the clearest. He's not a very well-known character, but he is a very different character. I'm not disappointed that I've got him, but I don't think he'll see much light from his other two modes. I think unless I was going to use him for a comparison, he would mainly stay in this mode that I think is pretty damn good looking, and also has some different variations that you can do to make it your own, which I always like from these characters. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you know a little bit more about this character than me? Please type down in the comments if you do know the full story of this guy, because I would really like to know a little bit more until I can actually read the manga myself. And if you're new around here, please give me a like, a share, or a subscribe, because it actually really does help my channel, and we are on our way to 800 subscribers at the moment. Thank you very much for all your support, and I'll see you in my next video. Alright guys, in a bit. Peace!